We'll talk about sequential learning, or the way the universe teaches, and perhaps the origin of so much pain and suffering when we don't listen to the prompts, when we don't listen to the little hints that it gives us. Now, if we were, say, if we were artificial intelligence, for instance, and the idea is to program this artificial intelligence in a way to ensure that it's not going to make any mistakes, that it doesn't get too much information, it doesn't get what it's not ready for. Well, then it has to be done in a certain sequence. It has to understand certain principles before it gets more valuable and more potentially dangerous information. And this is how I find, see, a lot of the information that I have could be put to very negative purposes, but it's because of the understanding that I've built up prior to the new information that I can see that's a futile attempt, really. It doesn't serve anybody, including me, to profit from it in that way. And the only reason that people do such negative things, like hurt other people for profit, is because they have information. They've gained this information somehow that they're not ready for, that they can't handle. And it's true. You can't handle the truth. that is dead right. We can't handle the whole truth. There's no way we can handle the whole truth. And it's funny when I think of the old oath that you see on TV. I don't know if they still use it anymore. When you go to court, you got to swear on the Bible to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Well, the first thing I say was no, because hell, I don't know the truth. I don't know the whole truth for sure. It's certainly not nothing but the truth. And what is that, yeah? Geez, I hope I don't have to go to court, because they say that's the law. Well, I say, hell, that's not a law. You can break that fucking thing. That's a rule. I just get myself in trouble, I think. But, I'd be able to explain it. I'd be able to defend myself, where if I told somebody that's not a law and that's a rule, and they go up and stand up in court and say, well, that's not a law, that's a rule. Well, tell me all about it. And that's similar to the universal sequence of learning and teaching. You've got to have the foundation before you move on to the next course of bricks as you build your house. And it helps to have a very solid foundation as well. And that's why I say that we are the creators. There's always someone in this world who's leading the course, because there's always someone. There's always someone. Someone has to. Someone from here has to. It's aligned with the rule of non-interference, isn't it? We supposedly have this free will to set our own path. In a way we do. In a way we don't. But what is will? We have the capacity to consciously make choices, and that's all about. It's to make the choices in alignment with the goals of the whole, of everybody out there and in there, everywhere. And those who are most in alignment with that intention are the ones that are doing the creation. That's their ideas that are being put forth in the universal mind and set into place. We steer our own course, and you can't cheat that process. The universe knows who's cheating and who's not. The universe knows who's being fooled, who's following their beliefs, even if they've had experiences being abducted by spaceships, or meeting people out there in the universe, being told all these fanciful stories and bringing them back and spreading them around the internet. Well, that's still just history, isn't it? That's not your own experience. Even if you can feel it, you believe it as much as you like, someone else telling you something is not your own experience. You can't trust it, can you? It's no different to our history and our stories. It depends on how we take them. And Well, that's the thing. It depends on how we take them, doesn't it? It depends on our interpretation. If we're to believe some negative shit, like this guy's good but that guy's bad, well, instantly there's some fear coming into that, and that's due. That could be due to interpretation, or the interpretation of the person who gave us this message. It's not pure, because pure is pure. Yes, it's pure love. There is no fear in the purity. In purity of the mind, there is no fear. There is no belief. There is nothing that's formed from the from fear, from the fear's characteristics, from its attributes. And that goes into very, very subtle levels, right down to the slightest shadow of a doubt of your intuition, of your perfection, of being everything there is. And that everything serves the greatest, highest, wholest purpose. Anything less than that is coming from fear. It's coming from a relative threshold created by fear at some point in the tree of logic or life. So while it's all real, it's all at least real estate, it's not necessarily true, absolutely true, because the only absolute truth is what? Love, is yes, is the principle. All other truths are relative. Everything we know is relative. Everything we feel is relative to our resistance, which is based on the fear. So the sequence can't be denied. Well, it can be, but not for long, because it gets harder and harder and harder to deny the next lesson in your sequence. You get pushed. It pushes you repetitiously. Things get harder and harder and harder, because your purpose here is to learn the ultimate truth. And by not doing so, by resisting, you're going against your purpose. And your higher selves, or whatever it is, will keep nudging you in that direction. The more you resist, the harder it's going to nudge, until it gets to the point where, there's no point anymore. You may as well wrap it up and start again. If you've let things go too far, you're not salvageable, well, you've got to start again. And that's what we do. I found that abundantly evident in my life, that the more I learn to accept and allow and include, the faster and faster the lessons go by, to the point where you're just chewing through them so quickly. It's incredible. And then, I still have my repetitious stages where not much happens. And I realise not much is happening, so I must be stuck somewhere. Where could I be stuck? Let's look into this. I have the memory of those beautiful experiences and where I was in those experiences. And these days I can always get back there, and things get beautiful again, and I start moving forwards again, and it feels great. Things start falling into place again. Love life all over again, every time. At those times, unfortunately, I find it very difficult to express myself, because, the rabbit hole just keeps going off in tangents so often. It's in the troughs when I can actually get things down on paper. So I don't even bother when I'm in those novelty peaks. I don't want to stop and try and consolidate the information, because that'll stop me. That'll keep me from continuing on the journey. So we have cycles to do these things, And it's no good when somebody's telling us we've got to do this now. It doesn't work like that. We're never going to get it done. Never going to really learn. We might be able to get stuff on paper, but what is it? It's usually the same old repetitive junk that we've heard before, isn't it? I see a lot of people, interrupting their experiences to write things down so they won't forget them, and to let other people know of this fantastic discovery. The ego gets invested in that, and things start slowing down. Where you could have continued on with this awesome experience and got better and better and faster and learned so much quicker, so much information. It breaks my heart sometimes to see it. But that's part of the learning process, and I've been through it myself. Yeah. But really, in one sense, there's no need, when I'm in those really high moments, I know that I'm bringing information down from a higher level to a lower level, where it's accessible to other people that can't reach the higher levels, but they can reach the medium levels into which I've brought information down. So, in a way, copyright is a farce because we all copy each other anyway, in a sense. And I do see and it happens instantly because time isn't linear. It happens instantly. As soon as I brought down this new stuff, I start to see it. I start to see it manifesting from the past. Maybe it's just that I recognise it now that I've actually been there and realised it, but I think it's more than that. And this explosion of awareness in the world around me, it happens in cycles. It doesn't seem to be a constant thing. I see it all around me, especially on Facebook, because I troll through Facebook and the forums all the time. And when I'm in my peak moments, not everybody has their peaks at the same time. Other people are peaking at when I'm in my troughs, but never to the extent that I see when I'm at my peaks. Yeah. I don't know, that could be more perception based, so I probably shouldn't go there and stick to the topic. The way the universe teaches, sequentially, I mean, it's quite simple to understand. With great power comes with great responsibility, and vice versa with great responsibility, which is the ability to respond as opposed to react, comes great power. And that is abundantly evident, abundantly self-evident, which is all that matters, because that's what's one thing about the way the universe, teaches. Because, I mean, what is it we're learning after all? To become sovereign beings in this level of reality, to be sovereign. And what is sovereign? It's to be integral, to be completely integral. And how can we be integral if we're not being completely honest with ourselves? If we're accepting something at face value, which you can't understand. It's not being honest with ourselves. Well, I mean, accepting it and claiming it as ours, that's two different things. Because somebody else's labels will never be our understanding, will never be our knowing, will never be ours. And they can be used against us, as they are all over the place. This is what subconscious programming is all about. It's about filling our heads full of programs that can be, so we can be predicted. We can be predicted to react a certain way according to the programs we've adopted. And that all happens because of the fears of those who fear the unknown, who need predictability, who need to be in control of what they don't understand, what they can't control. But they're never going to be in control. They're not in control. Never were in control. They just think they are. And all these fears that we watch on the TV, we hear on the radio, and we read in the forums, it's all their fear. It's not ours, it's their fear. These people who seek to control the world and seek to control us, to make us predictable by programming our minds, to alleviate their fear. That's all their shit. So you can really see where they're coming and where they're at, because if you've been there, you recognise it. And it's all fine. That's part of the greater scheme of things, isn't it? It's part of the greater plan. It all serves its purpose. I mean, they don't understand that purpose, and they think they're serving a purpose. It's a lower purpose. It's not the highest purpose. Because if they saw the highest purpose, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. They know it's detrimental to themselves, for a start. So they're just younger souls, they have a lot more fear to get through than some of us do, since we've already been through it. And we've risen above it. One thing about sequential learning is just to let the universe decide what you need, when you need it. Because you don't know. You're never going to know. And it's just futile to try, to concentrate, to effort at learning, because effort's for something else. It's not for learning. Learning requires no effort whatsoever. It's just let it flow. It's what the universe does best. Teaches.